growing up, I grew up right outside Manhattan in New Jersey, and it was less expensive.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to begin shortly. If you'd like to have a seat.
How are you?
Okay, Joe, we're ready. Okay. Good evening, everyone. I am Leisha Cabral, Superintendent of Schools here in Easton, and this evening we have a very special presentation for a very special person, Mrs. Caroline O'Neill. Who just loves this kind of attention, so it's wonderful. We have a very exciting program for you this evening, I hope. And it's going to start with a warm welcome for all of you to be here tonight. We did intentionally plan a smaller, in-person venue at Caroline's wishes, because we are, of course, live streaming this and recording it for posterity. And it is also available on Facebook. So if you have friends you'd like to tweet to get online, please do that. I wanted to start this evening with a biography, just to remind all of us why we're here. Caroline Shull O'Neill. Caroline was born in Denver, Colorado, not long after the end of World War II. Her father, Louis Shull, a lawyer, had served in the Pacific for 3 years during the war, separated from his wife, Helen, for that entire time. After returning from the war, he joined the Army's Judge Advocate General's Corps, remaining in that role until his retirement. Caroline is the eldest of 3 children, with 2 younger brothers, both of whom graduated from the military academy at West Point. The family moved regularly to various places around the globe, including Brazil, Italy, France, and Germany, and also had multiple postings in the United States. Always scholarly, Caroline excelled in school from the outset, graduating as valedictorian of her high school class and magna cum laude from the University of Texas at Austin, where she was elected to Phi Beta Kappa. Caroline met her husband, John, Jack O'Neill, while a student at UT. After graduation, the couple married on Governor's Island in New York City and secured jobs in a foster care agency, then entering graduate school to earn a master's degree in social work. Both of them. Caroline gave birth to her daughter Allison in 1974 and her son Lucas in 1979. The O'Neills moved from Texas to New York and then to Florida and Wyoming, arriving in Easton in 1979. In addition to mothering, Caroline worked as a therapist for a few years before securing a clinical social work position with the Department of Developmental Services, from which she retired in 2018. Soon after arriving in Massachusetts, Caroline began taking a keen interest in the Easton Public Schools, volunteering on several district committees in her son's classroom, and in 1992, the then chair of the school committee, Carla Goodwin, suggested that Caroline run for election to the committee. She was reluctant, to say the least, but with significant encouragement from Carla, Jack, and several others, she agreed to launch a campaign. I will say she topped that ticket. She also topped her most recent ticket, and probably everyone in between. There were 5 candidates up for 2 seats, and Caroline was quite pessimistic about her chances. But she ended up topping it, as I said, at a time when school issues were often contentious. Her work on school committee became her passion and the activity of which she is most proud. For 30 years, she has devoted 30 consecutive years, she has devoted countless hours to improving the experience of students in the Easton Public Schools. Her family, which now also includes 4 grandchildren, could not be more proud of her efforts, and the district could not be more grateful for her contributions. The rest of the story starts here, with this evening's celebration of Caroline's 30 years of service to the Easton Public Schools. We do have some special presentations this evening that we would like to begin with. The first is from our Senator Walter Timilty, who is going to make a presentation on Caroline's behalf. Senator?
Thank you, Dr. Cabral. It's indeed an honor to be here with you tonight, Caroline, to celebrate your service. Caroline, we all know that you are not the retiring type. So, while I know you did not place yourself on the ballot, and I'm confident you would have been an overwhelming success if you had, I know this is not a retirement because, Caroline, since I've had the privilege of working with you back in 2017, you've been all about helping everybody, caring for everybody, caring for the children of Easton. This town deserves the very best, and Caroline, you've made darn sure that the students here in Easton have received the very best. With great leadership in your administration, with Dr. Cabral and Chrissy Pruitt, an outstanding school committee, which you've been the driving force behind for 30 years. 30 years, and of course to Jack, thank you very much. Obviously service, public service is something that we all consider a privilege, and it's also a shared sacrifice. It's a shared sacrifice, it truly is, for every spouse and every family member of someone who goes and puts their name on the ballot, or someone who works in our school system. It is a sacrifice. It's a sacrifice that we all love. And you've been the driving force. You quite simply, you've made us all better, Caroline. And I know Rep. Carol Doherty and Rep. Jerry Cassidy feel the same way, and of course our select board and your colleagues on the school committee. We're all here tonight because we're excited to honor you for the wonderful person that you are and will continue to be. This week I offered this citation in the State Senate honoring you, Caroline, You are now recorded in the records, your 30 years of service in perpetuity in the Senate Clerk's office. And if I may, it reads as follows: Commonwealth of Massachusetts State Senate, official citation. Be it known that the Massachusetts State Senate hereby extends its congratulations to Caroline O'Neill in recognition, Caroline, of your outstanding and dedicated 30 years of service on the Easton School Committee, notably during your tenures as chair and vice chair, and so many subcommittees where you gave it your all for, Caroline, along with your colleagues. And be it further known, the Massachusetts State Senate, Caroline, extends its best wishes for continued success, and I emphasize continued, that this citation be duly signed by the President of the State Senate and attested to, and a copy thereof transmitted by the Clerk of the Senate, Caroline. And it has been signed by our Senate President, Karen E. Spilka, attested to by our Clerk, Michael Hurley, and offered by myself, one very proud friend, Walter F. Timilty. Caroline, thank you for all you've done for all of us.
It's a little over the top.
If I could just stay right there. Oh. You're going to stay right here. We'll take care of that. Thank you. And in a very busy graduation season, unfortunately, our representatives could not be here this evening, but they very much wanted to acknowledge your service as well. So on behalf of Representative Carol Doherty and Representative Jerry Cassidy, this evening we have Representative Doherty's aide, Matthew O'Brien, who is going to make a presentation to you on behalf of the House.
Good evening. Congratulations. Thank you. Well, thank you, Dr. Cabral, and thank you, Senator, for those inspiring words. Well, my name is Matt O'Brien, and I am Carol Doherty's legislative aide. And again, Carol apologizes that she could not be here tonight, but she sends her absolute best wishes. There's nothing my boss loves more than public education. I hear it most days, and folks like yourself that show up time and time again over the years are the ones that make a difference. The ones that get involved and are in it for the reasons that are not so pure, or are in it to look to the next stepping stone. Those are the folks that don't necessarily get remembered. Those aren't the folks that get awards and buildings named after them. It's the folks that come in and show up every single day, and they don't ask for the easy things to do. They ask for the challenging things to do. They say, "Give me another project. I can hold more in my basket." And Caroline is a great example of that. So if I may, I'd like to read a letter written by Carol to Caroline. And here it is in its entirety. Dear Caroline, congratulations on your retirement from the Easton School Committee. Retiring after 30 years of public service, devotion, and commitment to the children and families of Easton must be a bittersweet moment for you. With so much good work behind you and the knowledge that there is much more to be done, your decision to leave this work must not have come easily. You've seen 3 decades of ebbing and flowing within public education, from the Education Reform Law of 1993 to the modern-day challenges school committees face today. As a member, chair, and vice chair over the years, you've led the committee in making critical decisions that have affected the lives of the children of Easton and that have shaped their future. Simply put, you have enabled children to acquire knowledge and skills that will help them to become successful members of our society. And as a long-standing and respected member of the school committee, you have been a key participant in building good relationships in the community with Easton Public Schools, students, teachers, school staff, and families. Your contributions are and have been immeasurable. I wish you all the best. Warmly, Carol Doherty, State Representative, 3rd Bristol District. And you're not getting rid of me that easily. I also have here a citation from the House of Representatives, and I, if I may, would like to read it in its entirety as well. So we have here the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, the House of Representatives. Be it hereby known to all that the Massachusetts House of Representatives offers its sincerest congratulations to Caroline O'Neill in recognition of your well-deserved retirement after 30 years of dedicated service to generations of students as a member of the Easton School Committee. The entire membership extends its very best wishes and expresses the hope for future good fortune and continued success in all endeavors. Given this second day of June 2023 at the State House in Boston, Massachusetts, signed by Ronald Mariano, the Speaker of the House, offered by Carol A. Doherty, your state representative, and also Representative Gerard J. Cassidy. Congratulations once again.
Thank you.
May I just say, before you leave, we just love Carol. She has been an outstanding, and by the way, also Senator Timilty. We have been so fortunate in Easton to have both of you working on our behalf. I want to thank you, and please thank Carol for me as well.
Well, thank you so much. We as the senator, could attest to, we couldn't do our jobs without effective and dedicated and cognizant local partners. So the work that you folks do here in Easton is essential, and we thank you every day for your wits and for your dedication to public education and to our students. So thank you once again.
Yeah.
Excellent. Congratulations. Here is the letter for you as well.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's probably enough, right?
You wish. I would now like to welcome the Massachusetts Association of School Committees Executive Director, Glenn Kuchar.
So I see your name everywhere. I see you on Facebook all the time.
And I'm in the witness protection program. I do my best to stay with this. Thank you very much. I want a special hello. It's good to see Senator Timilty again, and good to see many alumni here, faces that we recognize from over the years. I wear a second hat, and that second hat is that I am the president of the Brief is Good Club. So I'm going to be very brief. I do want to say that I was first elected to my school committee 50 years ago. And I've been working with school committees at MASC and others for a very long time. I can't think of 5 people who served 30 years. And this is quite an accomplishment. More important is not only what good came out of the 30 years, but we all have day jobs. And I would just say, in making this presentation in recognition of 30 years, to say that service to others is not how Caroline and her husband made their living. It's how they made their lives. So. Give this to you, and you can hang this up in your Florida house if you like.
No, we have a disagreement about
I feel the same way as you
the
do.
appeal of
Sore
Florida.
subject.
It was simply, I actually said what's on the
Okay,
plaque. So
perfect. Congratulations.
recognizes 30 years of service, and
It's beautiful.
thank you for everything you've done. And again, great to see all our alumni here to honor Caroline.
Well, it's so kind of you to come. I know that you hardly have anything to do, so it's nice to
Thank you.
Anyway, thank you.
And now I would like to welcome Easton Select Board Chair, Ms. Dottie Fulgenetti.
Thank you. It's so great to be here tonight, Carolyn. We've had so many fun times together, some stressful times together, and we've problem solved together, and the Select Board appreciates everything that you've done to be a great partner to us. on behalf of the Select Board and the Town Administration, in consideration of 30 years of professional, exemplary, and committed service to the Town of Easton School Committee, the Select Board and the Town Administrator extend their most profound thanks and appreciation to Caroline S. O'Neill for her dedication to our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Did you get Dottie's head?
Actually, it's cut off. No, I'm kidding.
Right over there.
Thank you very much. At this time, we would just like to acknowledge some of the other very special guests that are here this evening. First, other town officials other than Ms. Fulgenetti. We have Jen Stacy, Select Board member. She came, she had to leave. Thank you very much for coming, Ms. Stacy. Craig Barger, Mark Lamb, and Jamie Stebbins are also members of the school committee Select Board who send their best wishes. And Mike DiPietro from the Finance Committee. I believe he also. We thank them for their sentiments. Our current school committee chair, Jennifer Starr. Please stand. Vice Chair, Michelle Durance. Nancy DeLuca. Lauren Loomis. The onomatopoeia gets me every time. And Jackie Weissman. We are also honored to have several former school committee members here this evening. I'm sure there are many wonderful stories and memories that can be shared and will be shared later. Some of them are present this evening, and if they are, I ask you to please stand. Jane Martin, Colleen Less, Lori Hahn, Fred Islip, Lenny Altieri, Carla Goodwin, Mark Brockman, Dawn Boynton, Jane Pike Benton, Bill Braun, and Michael Manning. A lot of experience in this room. We've been blessed at Easton, really. Former Superintendent, Mr. Michael Green. Current administration, Mrs. Chrissy Pruitt, Assistant Superintendent. And some very special friends. Mrs. Altieri, Robert Goodwin, Janice Brockman, Sue Hadge, Bill Hadge, Sharon Katz, Samantha Katzen, Chris Margulies, John Morley, Karen Chen, Amy Gershom, Lisa Carey, Hazel Varela, John Varela, Mrs. Manning, and Jen Pietro. Thank you all. At this time, we do have a couple of speakers who would like to come forward and offer some sentiments on Caroline's behalf. Please welcome good friend Chris Margulies.
Thank you. Oh, Caroline, this is just your thing, being in the spotlight. I said, how long is it going to go? Are we going to have to pick her up off the floor? Amazing commitment. How many times have we met in Shaw's and commiserated and celebrated and wondered. It is a shared experience, and your family has given a lot. But the kids of Easton are better for it. Thank you.
Please welcome Carla Goodwin. And welcome Mike DiPietro, Finance Committee member.
Thank you, Dr. Cabral.
Ms. Goodwin?
So let me guess. Caroline, can you hear me? Yes. Yeah, good. Let me guess. Caroline said, keep it small because nobody will come. I guarantee you. Is that true? Caroline O'Neill, I am honored to be invited to provide a heartfelt testimonial for you, Caroline. For I was on the first committee that you served as a member of the school committee. Caroline, you probably don't know this, but this was an unspoken pact that Jack and I had 30 years ago. Jack was concerned about your force of energy dimming a bit as Allison, their daughter, was about to enter college. And Jack knew that Caroline, you were heavily invested, as Dr. Cabral and others have said, in the school system as a parent. And now that Allison was off to Swarthmore, Jack was concerned, one, that you'd be home all the time, and two, about something to use your energy.
Wait a minute, I did have a job.
Oh, yes. Jack, you don't mind me finally saying that after 30 years, do you? He suggested that she run for school committee seat and asked me to invite Caroline to my office to suggest a run. And I did. And this was Caroline's response. Are you kidding? I could never get elected. No way. Who would vote for me? Who would work on my campaign? I told her it was a done deal. We would do all the work, and she would get elected. And she did. And the rest is history.
But you did not do all the work.
This is my speech. For once. Although she always continued in each election cycle to say the very same thing. Who would vote for me? And I'm not electable. This year, however, Caroline knew her work was done. Carolyn has become a legend, carrying bags full of goodies to meetings, bottles of water. She would feed every committee she was on a subtle way to soften and to cajole and engage others. She worked with integrity, honesty, and kindness. As a committee member, Caroline has consistently shown a deep commitment to the betterment of our students. Her passion for education, her genuine concern for the well-being and success of our students has been evident in every decision she has made. Caroline has prioritized the quality of education, advocating for policies and initiatives that promoted educational excellence. She promoted the first one to say that high school students should start later in the day, as she quoted one article after another from some journal that nobody knew but she did, that sleep for adolescents was more beneficial than for younger children. When having to do the difficulty, the prioritizing of cuts to the budget, which you faced every year, her mantra was, do the cuts that was furthest from the classroom. Remember that? Caroline made a point of actively seeking feedback from all stakeholders and valuing diverse perspectives. while she may have some cemented opinions, she was always eager to exchange her views. Caroline became the secret weapon of every school committee. Caroline would talk to every person for hours and hours until either they were too tired to listen, too worn down, and finally agreed to her position. I am sure we all have learned Caroline is like a wave upon a rock. Over time, even a rock smooths. This is a pause, purposely. Under your leadership, our schools have thrived. She has played a vital role in the construction of 2 new schools, the expansion of the high school, 4 superintendents were elected. She was instrumental and spearheaded the integration of technology in the classrooms, championed initiatives to address the social and the emotional well-being of our students. She was, and still is, a foundation and fountain of knowledge. She would have read countless articles, journals, and she was relentless in her own pursuits of innovations and ideas. Caroline's intelligence, CI, was the impetus for AI, let me tell you. Throughout her years, she is most recognized for her collaboration with and shared decision-making, as Mrs. Fulgenetti has mentioned, and having created a working environment with all committees and all for the optimization of a learning environment. In conclusion, Caroline is an exceptional committee member who demonstrated remarkable leadership, passion, and a genuine commitment to the success of students. I have no doubt that Caroline will somehow continue to serve the Easton community. And watch out, she'll talk your ear off. My friend Caroline, it is with immense gratitude and respect that I offer my congratulations for a job well done.
A mistress of hyperbole indeed.
Get over here and say it out loud.
You heard me, they heard me. Right. My service paled in comparison with this young woman's.
Oh,
And
young.
she went from school committee to select board and served many years on the select board and was an incredible leader. But I will tell you that I had a wonderful mentor early on, a man, Anderson.
Oh, Don
Don
Anderson.
Anderson, who was just the kindest, most lovely person. And he had been chair of the select board. And he decided after a number of terms to move to school committee because he said that the schools and our children really should be the town's first priority. Not to diss anything that our wonderful select board is doing, but I thought so often about his saying that, his actually making the decision to move after many years and being chair for many years of the select board to the school committee, where he served again for a number of years. So Carla was just a marvel, though. Don't let her fool you.
This history.
Yeah, right. She also has a great memory, which
And now I'd like to welcome Jane Martin to the podium, please.
Well, it's really hard to have a lot to say after that, Carla. You encompassed everything that is so honorable and commendable about Caroline. But I'm going to try and say a few words from my heart about my service with her. So when I look around and I see so many people who have come here tonight to honor and congratulate Caroline, I'm truly not surprised by it because she has touched so many lives and made such a huge impact on so many lives. I'm sure we all have a lot of stories and memories that we could share, both of the amusing and sometimes infuriating variety that come along with a life of public service. But when I look at Caroline, I have to tell her that I am truly, truly in awe of the many, many years of service to our community. She's one of the true champions and fierce protectors of public education. She's able to see past the systemic challenges and understand its true promise and importance. Easton has been so fortunate that you have dedicated your time and your talents to our students. Your voice and your vote remain focused to ensure that our schools are funded, our administrators are listened to, our educators and staff are supported. You have also made it clear that you value the important role that our schools play in developing and nurturing an educated citizenry that is able to think critically and defend the evolving landscape of our country as it moves to become more inclusive, more diverse, and more open to the opportunities of change. There are many qualities that I admire about Caroline, and I'm sure when I name them, you're going to agree with me. First is her intellect. She comes to every meeting and every issue very well informed and uses the facts to drive her decision-making. She does the research more than anybody could ever imagine. I don't know how she finds the time for it, except that I know she barely sleeps. Her focus on equity and justice. Caroline works for all of our students. She doesn't favor the loudest nor the privileged, whether that privilege be in time or finances. She understands, and this is something that I think many of us agree with, that a district is best judged by how it serves its marginalized and its least advantaged students. Her convictions. Caroline doesn't necessarily look for controversy, but she doesn't shy away from it either, and she is going to stand by her convictions. I sometimes like to think of her as the collective conscience of the school committee. Her patience. You don't serve for 30 years and get so much done without being patient. She understands that progress takes time. It takes a willingness to compromise. It takes a willingness to listen to people. Her service. We often hear that about a life of service. In many instances, this phrase has become somewhat cliche, but Caroline's service has been true and meaningful, and that service to others, particularly to our students, is a core part of who she is. And finally, one of the things that I find most delightful about Caroline is her curiosity. She is a lifelong learner. She keeps me on my toes. She keeps us all on our toes and all constantly thinking and evolving our perspectives. On a personal note, Caroline has changed my life. She just spoke a few moments ago about her mentor, and I consider her one of mine. She helped me find my voice and my confidence, and I'm willing to bet that she has done that for many others as well. I am truly honored and grateful to have been able to work with her for the years I served on school committee, but more importantly, I am truly honored and grateful to be her friend.
You know, if I were to choose someone that exceeded all of the qualities she just mentioned, it would be Jane. And Jane actually, like almost single-handedly, got the last, the lobbying effort for the last school project going, and stayed with it the whole time. She was involved in many, many other initiatives. But if this woman had not been in Easton, I don't think we would have the Bland James Elementary School.
And now we have a few comments and reflections from some guests who couldn't join us this evening.
Caroline, this is Chris Getchell, principal in Easton. I just want to thank you for your 30-plus years of service on the Easton School Committee.
Mrs. O'Neill, you've been around over the last, I guess, couple decades. Certainly, I feel like as long as I've been here at Easton, I've had the pleasure of working with you and working with the school committee.
I thoroughly enjoyed working with you and presenting to you, and I always knew anytime I presented to you that you would have done your research, had always had great thoughtful questions, and you really helped educate me and our entire district with your insight and your hard work.
I want to thank you on behalf of everybody here at the middle school. I want to thank you on behalf of all of the students that you helped represent over the last couple decades here working with the school committee. You will be missed, and you certainly will not be forgotten. I wish you the very best in a well-earned retirement, and I'm sure I will see you around. Enjoy.
Congratulations, Mrs. O'Neill.
Thank you from everyone at EMS.
I think you're the ultimate learner and very inspirational. I think you served Easton extremely well for all your time, and I wish you the best and wanted to thank you.
From the class of 2023, thank you, Caroline.
Thank you, Caroline, for all you've done for Easton and our kids. What a legacy.
It's going to continue in a moment, but I want to note that Lucas lovingly put this together for you this evening.
Congratulations are in order for the impact you have personally had on the Easton school systems and the thousands of students who have moved through the schools.
Thank you, Mrs. O'Neill. Thank you for supporting the kids in Easton.
I've been married to Caroline for what will be 55 years in September. I have witnessed her participation for 30 years on the school board, and for her it was never work, it was always joy. She just really loved serving on school committee and gave all of herself to it.
I enjoyed my time as a colleague on the school committee and truly appreciated the viewpoints and the experience that you brought to so many topics. The perspectives you offered made our decision-making more robust and well-informed.
Hi, Caroline. It's me, Hudson. By the time you probably see this, you'll probably be retired. So I had a lot of fun holding signs with you. That was really fun.
I didn't want to let today go by without wishing Caroline O'Neill a great, fantastic career, a legacy of 30 years in Easton School Committee, and a year of devotion, spending your life in service to your community and schools.
Your dedication and unwavering commitment to continuous improvement for not only the schools, but also for us as members of the school committee was consistently evident. The town of Easton is better because of you.
We love watching the school committees. We're the biggest fans down here in Florida. We just want to say that if you're looking for a place to retire, you and Jack, there's plenty of room in Florida. We have plenty of sunshine, plenty of palm trees, plenty of space. So enjoy your retirement.
Love you very much, honey, and I'm delighted that you're getting the recognition you deserve.
I wish you the best and hope that your free time brings you nothing but happiness. You deserve it. Congratulations.
Hoping you have a long, 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 and healthy life.
Okay. Gonna bring it up again a little bit here. A little bit of levity and share what I'm sure we all have in common. The top 10 reasons we hate to see Caroline leave the Easton School Committee. Number 10. We will not get to see her iPad added to the ancient artifacts of the Smithsonian. Number 9. We will no longer benefit from the input of the world's greatest cynic, self-proclaimed. Number 8. We will have to hire an in-house epidemiologist. Number 7. We won't have further occasion to say you are muted 10 times in one meeting.
That was only early on.
Number 6. Sick leave buyback will now be added to all payroll. Number 5. Research shows. That's it, just research. People sometimes stop listening at that point. Number 4. No one will ever again know what life was like before the education. Number 3. We will not have her facial expressions to look at during bargaining. I'm sorry, I think this is the funniest. Number 2. Now we all need to get our own subscription to the New York Times. The number 1 reason we hate to see Caroline leave the Easton School Committee, Trader Joe's will be going bankrupt. Congratulations, Caroline. The reason we love the most is that you're being okay. That's what we love about you leaving the school committee. At this point, we have a presentation from the current school committee. If you would like to join me at the podium.
So, first we have, Nancy regrets that she could not make it tonight. She's really heartbroken, but Nancy, our flower girl, come on up, has picked out this lovely presentation bouquet for you. And we would like to share that the school committee and central administration will be gifting some seating at Blanche Ames Elementary in the courtyard, either a bench or Adirondack chair to be designed in your preference with a plaque, and we will work with you on a quotation that you would like to be honored by in the courtyard of the school that you were so instrumental in having built. So there will always be a spot for you there at Blanche Ames.
You can stay right there. At this time, we're going to ask the family to share their sentiments. Lucas, Allison, Jack, in any order they would like. Please join Caroline. Caroline's daughter, Allison.
How you doing, Mom? So you may know that public speaking is not my mom's favorite, and I can say that the apple doesn't fall far from the tree in this respect. But I'm not going to pass up the opportunity to recognize this remarkable woman who has given so much to me and to the children of Easton. It's really wonderful to be here and meet so many of you, and know, looking out at so many of you, that you all appreciate my mom and her wonderful qualities the way that we, her family, do. As I was meeting some of you today, you said to me, your mom's so proud of you. And I just want her to know today that we are so proud of her. Just as I won the mom lottery, Easton hit the jackpot when they landed her as a public servant for these last few decades. Her, as many people, many of you have mentioned, her intellect, her integrity, and her unflinching commitment to education have always been evident. School committee has been her passion for decades. And as she mentioned, she did have a full-time job for many of those years, but this is where she dedicated her passion. Let's see. Because education was always front and center as a value in our home and in her heart. So many of you are like extended family. We have heard over the years about all the dramas and the triumphs. And I think you will agree with me that she is one tough cookie. She doesn't give up or give in easily. And that's something that I've been able to learn and appreciate in her through her work with the Easton Public Schools. May we, her progeny, and her successors alike, carry on the courage to speak up when needed and to do what's right even when it's not easy. And I just thank you all so much for celebrating her tonight. She's one of a kind.
Lucas, Caroline's son.
I did the video, so took me all day. I got those two little kids back at home, so I didn't have time to do prepared remarks. But I just want to say it's really touching to hear everyone, like my sister said, recognize the qualities about my mom that we always knew about and that we appreciated. It's just really lovely to see that so many other people appreciate those same things. She's been a wonderful example for us, obviously, that attention to detail, that willingness to fight those battles, and not shy away from those tough topics. And yeah, I think hopefully all the other members that she worked with along the way will continue in that vein. Yeah, we're really, really proud of you, like Allie said. And I'll hand it over to Dad.
I was going to start my remarks by saying that I've known Caroline the longest and the best, but then I got involved in planning for this event. And most of the planning was done with the school committee and the superintendent. And in the course of discussing how all of this would work tonight, I was asked, what is Caroline's favorite color? Because we'd like to work that into the presentation. And that was met with silence. After after about 90 seconds, somebody jumped in to save me and said, well, what are her favorite flowers? More silence. I said, in my defense, however, I know what she doesn't like. I know hundreds of things she doesn't like. And since she doesn't have to run for office anymore, I'm going to outline some of those things that she doesn't like. She doesn't like racism. She doesn't like homophobia. She doesn't like Florida. She doesn't like mansplaining. She doesn't like patriarchy. She doesn't like guns. And she really doesn't like COVID. She doesn't like computer passwords. And she doesn't like the Electoral College. So in September, as I mentioned on the video that you saw part of, we'll be together for 55 years. For 30 of those years, I've had to compete with her love of the school committee. Because she really does love the school committee and the work that the school committee does and the work that all of you do in relation to educating the kids of Easton. I'm very grateful for all that you've done tonight in recognizing this because public service employees don't get a lot of recognition. They don't get a lot of thanks for what they do. And when it does finally happen, it really feels good. So I just thought that in closing, I would mention some of the unfinished business that I know she would like to see taken care of when she leaves. Two things that she says she has not been able to accomplish, though she really, really wanted to, was the addition of languages, specifically Chinese, to the curriculum of the Easton Public Schools. And although she was instrumental in getting a late start in the high school, it was a compromise. She would like to see a full hour rather than a half hour. I love you very much, honey. It is really going to be a challenge to have you at home. You've got to get rid of some of those qualities.
Now, before we give Caroline the microphone, I just wanted to welcome up Town Administrator Connor Reed, who I know Caroline feels very fondly of his work and his contribution as well, and I know he would like to say a few words.
Thank you, Caroline. I am so sorry and so mortified to be late and end up going right before you at your own retirement. But it was for good reason that I know after spending about 12 years working with you that you would support, which was I was tucking both of my little girls into bed. Little girls that will come to the school system that you have shaped, the campus that you've seen rebuilt, the community that's stronger and better off thanks to your 30 years of service. And I would say I hope they grow up to be as fierce of an advocate as you have been, and I'm sure will continue to be in whatever you do next. But given that I pretty much leave town hall and go home and get stuffed in a locker by my girls every day, I think that they will be following in your footsteps shortly. So I don't remember exactly when we first met. It might have been budget subcommittee many, many, many years ago. And for folks here who don't subject themselves to watching municipal meetings on local access for fun. Budget subcommittee is where myself, the superintendent, finance directors, and members of a finance committee, school committee, and select board get together and try to figure out how to make more money exist next year to fund services than we know will. And Caroline has, as every one of us here knows as well, if not better than I do, always been an incredibly fierce advocate for the schools here, for the children here, for educators here, for education from a philosophical perspective. I think you also despise book bans, which is great. But one of the things that I always respected most about you was that you were unapologetic, and this is a good thing. You wore on your sleeve that you respected that other folks, sometimes me, had other areas we may need to focus on, but that's not why you're here, and that's not your role, and that you respect the roles others have, but you're going to fight tooth and nail for the constituents who you were elected repeatedly to represent, which are children and educators. And I really respect that. A lot of folks in positions like ours have to make tough decisions. There's never enough resources to support all the programs that we know that we need. And it's tempting to engage in a kind of discussion where if we just think more creatively or try to build a better mousetrap, everyone can get everything they need. And you have always acknowledged that that's not true. And were very kind of matter of fact and pushed for what you believed in and what your role was. You were very effective. I think you pulled me aside after a meeting and said, I hope you don't take any of this personally, but it's my job in life to do battle. I don't know if it was with me, but maybe it was just the seat I was occupying. But you've always been a little bit of both. But you've always been so kind. You've done so much for this community. And I'm so appreciative that I got to spend the amount of time that I did with you and learn from you and grow as a public servant with you. So thank you so much, and I wish you all the best. And I'm terribly sorry for my time.
Now, I just want to note, for those of you that weren't paying attention, this program has gone exactly 1 hour and 2 minutes, and we cannot be held responsible for the length of the next speaker. So without further ado, please welcome the woman of the hour and maybe more, Caroline O'Neill.
Wow, this is a lot. This is going to take longer than I anticipated because my son has whispered in my ear 6 times, hold the microphone closer to your mouth and speak slowly. He knows that I like to race through these things because it's not exactly in my comfort zone, but I'll try to speak slowly, which you all are going to pay the price for. This is a lot. I was told by my husband, whom I can now no longer trust, this was going to be a small group of school committee members, superintendent, assistant superintendent, just a little farewell dinner. This is a lot more than that. And, oops, just dropped something, I don't know what it was. Anyway, I do have to say, well, my husband underplayed this event enormously, but he did tell me that I should probably prepare a few remarks. And I was a little curious because I thought, really my recent school committee colleagues and so on, they've heard lots of remarks from me. But I complied. It has been the honor of my life to serve on the school committee. And to give you a little insight into why, I'm going to read a small part of my answer to a question posed by the Easton Journal to candidates running in the school board election some years ago. That question was, why are you running for school committee? My response, for as long as I can remember, I've viewed public schools as essential to the health of our democracy. For the majority of our nation's children, public schools represent their primary path to a fulfilling and successful life. I cannot imagine a pursuit more gratifying than that of working to support and to strengthen the educational programs in my own community. I said that probably 10 years ago, and of course it's totally true today as well. And my experience has been exactly that. I've had the privilege of working with 5 superintendents. Carla, you forgot my brief tenure under Lisa Zimmerman. Yes, when you said 4. Each of whom championed initiatives that enhance the quality of our students' educational experience in the Easton Public Schools. It has been a true pleasure as well to work with a total of 22 school committee colleagues over the past 30 years. I often think about how lucky I have been to serve alongside so many talented and committed individuals. Then, of course, there are the students and teachers. During my time on the committee, I attended countless classroom presentations, award ceremonies, and student performances. Witnessing learning in action was not just engaging and informative, it was often uplifting. That our wonderful educators in Easton go above and beyond when it comes to providing quality programs for our students goes without saying. But I said it anyway. And while it's true that a tree can grow in Brooklyn, there's ample evidence to suggest that the physical spaces students inhabit have a great bearing on their academic success and social emotional well-being. So it has been incredibly exciting to witness the expansion and renovation or the complete replacement of every one of our school buildings during my time on the board. When I first ran for school committee, in 1993, I certainly never imagined that I would be donning a hard hat multiple times over a period of years to tour active construction sites. We are so fortunate to be part of a community that repeatedly voted to support these school projects, much to the benefit of our children. Friends have asked me how I feel about having stepped down from the school board. What I have told them is that, quite simply, I feel sad. Being on the Easton School Committee gave me a sense of purpose, a mission in a sense. It has been a significant part of my identity for a very long time. But of course, much as we may wish to do so, we cannot freeze ourselves in time or place, and I am adapting to this change. Before I can fully turn the page, however, there are so many people to thank. My school committee colleagues, recent and not so recent, our brilliant and incredibly hardworking superintendent, Alicia Cabral. I suspect much of this was her, shall I say, inspired by your, no? And the rest, of course, is, well, anyway. Chrissy Pruitt, our creative and always enthusiastic assistant superintendent. All of our central office and building administrative staff, our dedicated teachers and support staff, our outstanding and supportive town administrator and select board. I wrote this last night, so, you know, I didn't do this just because you gave this lovely speech. And members of other boards who have had a role in supporting our schools. I think Mike DiPietro is here for that. You deserve that one. Now I've lost my place. Of course, I have neglected to mention everyone to whom I owe a debt of gratitude. But I'm only human, and I'm sure you've all heard enough speechifying for one evening. Thank you for being here and for your many, many kind comments. What you have said and done on my behalf means a lot to me, and I will always treasure the memory of this occasion. Now, that wasn't so bad, right?
So any good meeting of so many school committee members needs to end with a vote. And so I am going to call upon Michelle Durance, Vice Chair of the school committee, for that vote.
I'm going to ask any past and present school committee people to please stand. All right. I'm going to start with the current school committee. You'll all know how to follow through. I would like to make a motion with the most sincerest regrets to accept the resignation, retirement, whatever you want to call it, of Caroline O'Neill. Do I have a second? No. Sorry, you're stuck.
Star second with regret.
Okay, roll call vote. Jackie?
Yes.
Lauren?
Yes.
Lenny? Carla?
Yes. Regrets and gratitude.
Mark?
Yes.
Dawn? Jane?
With thanks, love, and regret.
Jane?
Yes, with regret.
And Fred?
Gratitude for your service.
Did I miss anybody?
Yourself. Yes, with regret.
You're allowed to retire. Michelle, I'm going with no. With regrets.
Okay. Just so you know, this wasn't a deliberating meeting and it was not posted publicly for that purpose. Just saying.
Symbolic vote only.
Symbolic only. Okay, at this time, we conclude this evening's celebration of Caroline O'Neill. I hope that you have felt the love and gratitude this evening. Your legacy lives on in Easton and always will. We hope everyone will please join us in the hallway where we can congregate for fellowship, to speak with Caroline and her family, and please, for heaven's sakes, eat and eat and eat. Thank you so much for being here this evening and sharing this wonderful event for Caroline O'Neill.